The tribe has spoken.
Yes, hello and good evening. It is Wednesday, March 9th, 2022, and we just finished watching the 2-hour premiere of Survivor Season 42, titled Feels Like a Roller Coaster. And I can tell by the look on my co-host's face, Jaemeel Robinson, that he's just been through quite a ride with this episode and this premiere. I'm Dave Mader, coming at you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcast, and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to the audio version. I see my brother Jeff Mader is in the queue. He says his devices are not connected, but he will be joining us presumably once he sorts that out. Jaemeel said, "Don't even ask me how I'm doing tonight," and
don't.
I won't. But I have to know, Jaemeel, that with Jackson being the first overall pick in this draft that we had the other night in our cast preview. You had the first pick, you had that golden ticket, and you chose Jackson Fox, the 48-year-old from Houston, Texas, who ends up being medically evacuated here on day 3. And by the end of that day 3, we also see Zach voted out of this game in the same day. So he's technically the second one out, but he's the first voted out. So 2 people are gone from the game. We are now at 16, and I guess we're gearing up for the next ride, the next leg on the roller coaster, as episode 2 will be coming up, titled "Good and Guilty." But I know you're salty maybe about Jackson's departure here. It was kind of, and we can get into that, of course. But just on this premiere in general, how are you feeling about this cast and this show this year, and like even some of the twists that we're seeing?
I'll try not to be so bitter about this. Oh my gosh. I think that a lot of opinions were spot on, which I think I did not give Jenny enough credit.
Yes, Jenny was a bit of a surprise.
I think stood out more so than I thought she would. But a lot of other people, they were exactly who I thought they were, and that even makes me more mad. More so, like,
yeah. Why does it make you mad?
Because I didn't think, like, a lot of these people that were picked after, like, I didn't think they were gonna last at all, or set up in a situation where they're going to have a good footing in the game. And like, my dude seems to be, well liked, isn't booty in the challenges, and seems to have a good head on his shoulders, and like this last minute BS.
This was a new one. This was a new one
from underneath me.
Yeah, with the whole Jackson departure. Jeff, now he's joined us. He is with us, Jeff at 9ish. Jeff, how are you feeling just overall? Season 42 coming in after this premiere. 2 people voted, or well, 1 medically evacuated, 1 voted out tonight. But just, do you feel good about the start of the season, or are you more apprehensive?
I couldn't help but compare this season to last season because it was filmed like back to back. It's basically the same season again. It's the sequel. But the cast this season feels a lot different. As last season, I kind of just hated the cast, but I actually thought they were good at the game, like at least somewhat. This cast is annoying. Like I think half of the cast, is annoying. The other half I actually kind of like. There are some, I don't know. There's some people, it's what Jaemeel said. A bunch of them are exactly what I thought they were going to be. Tori is the spoiled rich girl, like 100%. Like the eye rolls. Yeah, the eye rolls, the entitlement is strong with this one. We have also Marianne. She is a giant character on the show, but man, she's like a 12-year-old. Like, she is a kid at heart playing this game. I think she's going to get her heart broken. Like when she cried there when Jackson said he was leaving, I was like, oh my God. Like, did you guys catch Probe's response? Like, did you see his little eye? Like, he was just, oh man, it was amazing. He was just like, oh, really, Marianne? Like, you've known him for 3 days.
48 hours.
Yeah. It's like, anyway, I think he got justice for Jackson. I think he got screwed over here. I don't agree with what they did. I think if you had a lithium thing and something could happen, fine, but then just monitor them. Like, I don't understand what they were doing here. First of all, letting him play if they were unsure, and second, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the side effects of what happens when you're weaning off lithium playing Survivor, but I don't think they did either. I think it was all precautionary,
right? And it turned out that Jackson did disclose this late in the game. After you go through a lot in casting. They do blood tests, they do medical things, they do assessments, they make sure you can swim, they can make sure you do all these things. So when you get out there, you're capable and you know what to do. And so, yeah, Jackson kind of, according to Jeff, and what Jackson wasn't disputing it, was that Jackson came out and said, "Hey, I'm had of it like this medication, lithium, which I don't know a lot about myself. I don't know a lot about this drug or medication or whatever you want to classify it. But the medical advice I would imagine that the production was getting was like, that when you're dehydrated, when you're hungry, that the side effects can be very bad. You don't know what could happen in the middle of the night, when you're not around, production is not as close. So it was probably like the lawyers and the doctors saying, we can't go for it. There's just too much risk here.
I see. Okay. And I think what they weren't mentioning here is lithium is basically used for like depression and bipolar. And like, that's basically what it's used for. So and like antipsychotics. I think they were concerned that without the medication, there was a chance Jackson was going to have like a psychotic episode, and they didn't even want to go there. They didn't want that liability. And that was, to me, the real reason. Like Jeff kind of said, like, oh, you're really strong to even come out here and talk about this openly and everything that was going on right away with him. But I thought it was very, I thought it sucked, to be honest with you. Like, I think yes, there's a chance, but that's why you monitor him, and like you just you have cameramen there all the time. You have producers. I think
it would come down to the other castaways and whether or not, like, if one of them got hurt out there because of this, and then they'd say, well, you knew that Jackson was a potential risk and you allowed that to go forward. And I think that they're just being proactive and safe.
That's what this is. Yes, Jaemeel.
So if Dalton, I think it's Dalton.
Dalton Ross?
No, the shoulder guy.
Oh, no, you're talking about Daniel. Dalton.
Yeah, he's a nobody to me, honestly. In this game, I don't have a high opinion of him.
He had kind of an interesting story tonight.
I know, but if something happens and he, let's say, accidentally hurts someone by holding something up and his arm gives out, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like he can accidentally hurt someone too? Right? Like,
wow. I don't know if
you saw the tribe that Jackson was on. Yes. I don't think they were going to be in a lot of trouble in terms of food, like water or anything anytime soon. And he was just so set up. I kind of just have to. I'm at the past the anger stage to it's just laughable at this point. I like take him out of the game and say, sorry, you know what? We're just gonna have you, play next year, right? Because you're such a good personality. We're just gonna have one person shy. To have the person come onto the island already and go through all of that's just ridiculous. That is straight ridiculous. Most likely won't ever get to play again.
Nope.
Oh, I wouldn't imagine so.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's obviously disappointing, and it's not what you want to see any player go out.
I think it's really sad that I get why it's on the show and everything, but this is Survivor's fuck up either way. and it felt like they made it feel like, to me, they made the audience to me feel like it was Jackson's screw up, and I don't know if I think that sucks for him. Like, I just disagree with like everything that like occurred here, because it's not fair. It's not fair for the audience. It's not fair for Jackson, and Survivor's the one that's ultimately responsible here, in my opinion.
Just imagine if this is a permission slip and the person brings a permission slip late, and then they're like, okay, we got your permission slip. They bring them on the trip and they say, we got to send you home because you had your permission slip late. It's like, just say, sorry, you divulged this information too late. You can't go. Why jerk the person around? I doubt the lawyers are saying anything different from like more than 3 days ago to now, because it wasn't just 3 days ago. It was quarantine.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the show.
Right. And he said they've been debating for 2 days, but they were probably going further back than that. But they ultimately did put Jackson into this game versus maybe an alternate that they had ready, right?
Yeah. They always have alternates.
There's always a couple alternates. They have to have them, right? And so, but I guess once the game starts, you can't put an alternate in. You can't like replace Jackson 2 days into this with somebody else.
I think they should have.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like there's a certain amount of time where it's permissible. Maybe it's before the first vote out. I don't know, but
that would have been the case here. Like they've been on the island for 3 days. I think I get if they put that person in and then they lose and then that person goes home, but still you were an alternate. You were going home anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it would have been he would have won this person would have won onto the Orange Tribe. And probably would have won that challenge anyway, like Jaemeel was saying. Yeah. Maybe you just set him out anyway, and then the same thing occurs.
Put Francesca, put her on for a third time. She can make it the first vote.
Right. Right. This time she'll eat a seashell.
Yeah. So yeah, Jackson, I think, is just kind of like this tragic story, and I'm sure not what anybody wanted, and we can kind of figure out who to blame or not for it. But
Dave, sorry to cut you off. Like, literally, I better not win this season. I better not, because the amount of
you have the bottom picks.
Start talking. If I start if I win, the amount of shit I'm going to be talking is going to be ridiculous.
If you win, I will be impressed, because your other picks here are Swati and Mariah.
Yes. And I think Swati's going to be
Swati's going to be good. I think she's smart. She did the right thing coming out there. She's 19, 20 years old, and she says, hey, I was in the military or whatever. She's like, oh, you're young, but you know what? You're smart. You're going to be an accomplished person. I think for older people, they kind of they see
to her.
They respect it. I think with like Tori, it's the complete opposite. It's like, oh God,
my God, because it's like everything. Older people mistrust about younger people, that they're like not in touch, that they're sort of naive, got their head in the clouds, are super dramatic, and and
overthink things as well. Like
things,
get
easily offended, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to throw something, and then can we talk about Mariah? Yeah, your other pick.
Okay, I thought we were gonna go. Okay, you know what?
Will you be mad if she wins? Will you be mad if she wins?
If it doesn't matter if I win, I like, people are gonna start calling me Daryl with the amount of shit I'm gonna start talking.
Okay. Oh, Daryl. Yes. Okay, but go. Okay, I do want to get into the different tribes and everything else.
Yeah,
but I think
talk about the episode. I'm sorry. Thank you, Dave, for allowing me this time to vent. Right?
No worries. Of course, I understand. It was dramatic. It was stressful and quite memorable. I don't think we'll forget about this anytime. Remember. I don't know if we'll remember Jackson's name forever, but I think we'll remember how Jackson went out.
Yeah. When I saw Jeff show up on the island, I'm like, don't you dare, Jeff. It's like, I got to talk to one of you. Don't you say Jackson's name. Jackson, come over. I'm like,
yeah. Jackson's gone. Yeah. And also, just before we get through just like the nitty gritty of the episode and sort of the overall game, like we also saw here Zach go out in the first vote. Zach Werdenberger, the 22-year-old, a younger person maybe they didn't respect as much, clearly, because they voted him out on the Blue Tribe from St. Louis. I liked Zach. I thought Zach was funny. I thought that there was some good moments here with Zach, and I wish that Zach could have gone farther in this game.
Committed the cardinal sin of Survivor.
Ratted somebody out.
You ratted somebody out, but also not only that, you created suspicion around somebody like on day one. And not that it wasn't sort of justified. It was just you don't do that. You sit back, you lay back, you let other people make mistakes. You
he
don't
stuck
make
his neck out. He stuck his neck out to help who is it? To help Tori, because he was like, Drea's throwing your name out about the idol.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, why you love Tori? You're trying to build trust with Tori?
Yeah. I hope he learned his lesson. You don't do that. Don't care about Tori. Don't be a nice person.
Life lesson.
Life lesson. Yeah, I think sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut, and he didn't.
Yeah, he also plays his shot in the dark here. A 1 in 6 chance to get immunity. I think it's 1 in 6 is too low. I think that it should be a 1 in 3 shot if you lose your vote.
No,
especially when you're in a tribe of 6 people.
I'm sorry, no. Too bad, too sad. Right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
This is supposed to be an offhand chance, like I think 1 in 6 might be even a little bit too low, right? This is your Hail Mary, right?
Like if you can roll a dice, well, you know.
But you don't get to roll a dice. You just get like a random paper, right? Like, how does it work?
But at the same time, I wouldn't want someone like you can roll 2 6s in a row. Just imagine how much like damage that can do for a vote of someone with poor gameplay to last 2 votes. No, play better, right? And you won't be in that position. You have idols, you have advantages. I'm sorry. Like,
was he right to do it, even though it was only 16% chance of it working tonight?
Well, yeah, because he was going home unanimously either way, so it was the right thing for him to do here. But I thought Tori was going home. I was surprised that it was so unanimous. I mean, the show made me feel like Tori was going home.
It seemed like he really hurt himself in that puzzle at the end, because he seemed like he gave up in the puzzle. He was just completely exhausted from the challenge, and he had no energy left.
So, a better question: do you think he should have went home?
Like, do I think it was the right move for the Blue Tribe collectively? Yeah. The other 5 of them? I don't think so. I and you could see that in particular, Romeo didn't think this was the right thing to do. Drea wanted to go after Roxroy, and I think that I agreed with some of the logic of why to keep Roxroy, because he is the strong guy on their tribe, and to compete with people like Jonathan on the Orange tribe, you need him in their minds. I don't know, like you could make an argument for it, but Drea was trying hard, and Romeo ends up pushing her off of that tonight. And then Swati, it seemed like Swati and Roxroy were sort of like working or they at least were talking together quite a bit.
I think he respects her, and that's why they have that bond, but I don't necessarily think it's like as set in stone as some other the relationships that we've seen throughout the episode.
Yeah, I think if I was a member of that Blue Tribe, I was picking between Tori and Zach. I think I would keep Zach of the two, because I think Tori, like, is she ready to work with me? Is keeping her around beneficial to my game? I can't see how. Is she gonna help us win challenges?
I wouldn't trust that girl as far as I could throw her. Yeah, especially if it was like Drea, like the way she acted around Drea. And it's funny that in the preview for the next episode, those two are going to be at odds. She showed me everything. If I was Drea, I would have been like, let's get this Tori out, like 100%. Like the second she snapped when it was like, hey, I'm actually thinking about getting rid of Roxroy, and she went, oh, Roxroy, well, he already built us a shelter,
Yeah, so he built a shelter. He's expendable.
Like the second she did that, I would have been like, okay, I'm not aligning with you.
Yes. Because she'll see how disposable people are then.
She turned on a dime, like literally. And I guess she was in trouble, but like you showed it, and you don't show it.
Let's just have a look here at the Ica Blue Tribe as they appeared when they first met each other. At least, well, I guess they probably met each other in the press photos, but and things like that. But they're not allowed to talk, so this is when they know they're on a tribe together. And like there's something in Tori's eyes, Jeff. That
there's something about Tori. It's like there's something. The thing about Pam. The thing about Tori.
There's something I don't trust.
Yeah.
You say she got crazy eyes?
A little bit.
A little overexcited. I mean, she also comes across like a lot of these people come across like they're 5 years younger than they actually are. She's 25 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, she comes across like she's 18 to me.
Yeah.
Like, so I find like, yeah.
And she's a
And then
therapist.
Shweta seems so much older to her in comparison, and that's just kind of like life experience and also maturity in general, a maturity
Yeah.
and a head on her shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, they could not be more different, people in a lot of ways, I would
Was
say.
this the tribe that was like they had like the 3 younger people who were talking Harry Potter, and then
Yeah.
the 3? Yeah, they was right. Like that's
Yeah.
what was
And then,
happening.
and then Tori was like, "Oh, I can bond with these nerds. So, I've read a couple books. She was literally is like she belongs on Euphoria. Like this is like the type of girl she is. Like it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
There was something to it, like where it was like, okay, but you're not like saying, oh, this is something I can bond, or this is an angle I can work. It was more like I'm going to manipulate them through my therapist powers, which I'm not telling them I have. I'm telling them I'm a personal care worker or something like that. Yeah, but I just don't think that the whole blue tribe is necessarily going to do well. I'm not feeling super confident about them.
No, they're 5 individuals. Like they are not a team. In any way whatsoever.
Now here's a team. Here's a team that knows how to bond. It's the Orange Tribe, also known as Taku. Okay, like Jeff, you have Jonathan in the draft. He's from Alabama. This guy.
I also have Lindsay, but yes,
you have Lindsay on this tribe too.
Yes, so I have both. I'm Team Orange all the way, just like you, Dave. I know
I have Omar and Marianne on this tribe.
Yeah, so so Jaemeel, you're kind of with us here.
You had Jackson, but no longer.
But doesn't he have the other lady?
My gosh.
Oh yeah. Actually, he had 2 members of this tribe too. Yeah, Mariah.
We each had 2 members of this tribe. So, I think the winner's coming from this tribe.
I have a good feeling about it. Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of good mix of talent here. I think that you saw the good teamwork. I thought in particular, Lindsay and Jonathan, like in that challenge tonight, were just like rocking it. Like you could see that these 2 are going to be like the brawn of that tribe. Whereas I think that Marianne and particularly Omar are going to be like the brains of this tribe.
Yeah, I think I picked the 2 muscles of this tribe. I think they're going to do amazing once they get to the merge. Both those people.
I hope there isn't a swap.
Yeah, me too. I hate swaps.
I don't want to swap with this team. Like,
yeah, this was a good unit. I was, I think Marianne's a bit of a character for sure, but she's very likable, very charismatic. Living with her 24/7 on an island, I don't know, but I think that she's definitely. I liked her story tonight. I liked a lot of her confessionals, and
she's a good TV character, but man, she has a lot of energy, and I just don't know if I would want to be around her 24 hours a day. And maybe it's just the way she comes across on TV. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
You get the heightened highlights.
Right. And so maybe like a lot of times actually she is really chill, and you can have a conversation with her without being like, "Whoa, okay, can we dial it down a notch?" Because she rides on 11, and so that could so that's what the show is presenting to me, and so I don't know if that's. I want to see that tribe go to tribal council at some point, because I want to see who they view, like, devalue, basically.
I see if they do go to tribal, I think Jonathan is gone. This dude like looks like a beast. Like seeing him just completely like manhandle. Like I don't want to say manhandle, Jonathan handle, because there's other men on these tribes. He's like, there's no way anyone should let this person near merge.
No, he could win out. He could win every immunity to the end.
I don't think so, guys. I think yes, he's super athletic, but Joe Anglem was like the greatest at the Survivor Carnival games, and even he couldn't go on a run like that. Like Mike Holloway did it, but he was already toward the end.
Or Ozzy.
Or Ozzy. Like the thing is, like a lot of those. It's like Lamar Odom in Big Brother. Like he won nothing. Like he's so big that how well is he going to be able to hold his arm above his head? How well is he going to be able to balance on on a tiny little piece of wood. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I just
do.
Balance,
So what's
absolutely right. You're right. Balance in terms of holding himself up. 1,000 pull-ups, dude. World record holder for pull-ups.
Okay, well I did. Yes, right.
Is he the
For
world record holder?
Wasn't he for 1,000?
Oh, I believe you.
Guinness. Yeah, he had a Guinness World Record.
Okay.
Even if he lost it, like he's like it's still up there a lot more than a lot of these.
But
other
you shouldn't
people.
vote him out first. You get him
No,
out.
not vote him out first, but you have to find some.
I would bring him to the merge. Are you kidding? I would bring him to the merge 100% because I know I could use this guy as a shield. He's at the merge. He's an easy target. At some point, somebody's going to want to get rid of him.
I think you get him out. You get him out. If there is a swap, that's the time to get him out.
If you're on a different team, yes.
Right. Then I understand what you're saying. Yes, for sure.
But the only worry I have is if someone is his number 2 and he keeps winning immunity.
Yeah.
They're going to take you out.
Yep. Right. Yep. That's true.
Let's also just talk about the Green Tribe, also known as Vati.
Mike Tyson's on this tribe.
Okay. I think you mean Mike Turner, the 50-year-old from Hoboken. What is he, Puerto Rican? Is that what we learned tonight? And
he sounds a lot like Iron Mike. Like just I don't know. I just found so like me and Amanda were chuckling. We were like, hey, he kind of does sound like Mike Tyson. This tribe, Dave. Yeah, like okay. Can we talk a little bit about what's the Jewish guy with cancer? What's his name?
The Jewish guy. Daniel.
You can call him Dalton too.
Dalton.
We'll all learn his name eventually. Yeah, he had dislocated his shoulder. That was rough.
This tribe's a hot mess. I think Lydia is like basically the superhero of this gang of misfits. Yeah, you know, not Lydia, not Jenny. Sorry, Jenny. I meant Jenny.
Okay. Jenny is, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, Jenny's like even in the picture, like it's like her and like her entourage. You know.
What about High?
High is like, he's gonna do good, but I mean, I would want that guy out. I mean, if it were me, I would want to vote him out. Fast.
Okay, and we need to talk about the challenge tonight, where the second person who ran in this relay race to go get ores right around this hill, they were given it like this advantage, this amulet power, which High is one of them, along with who was on the Orange Tribe. It was Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
And on Ica, it was who was it on Ica? Romeo. I think it was Romeo, right? No, it was Marianne. No, who was it, guys? Who was it? Drea. It was Drea.
Drea.
Yeah. So those three get the power here. But okay, just on High, while we're talking about the Vadi tribe. So High, like they had the option to put like mud and blood on them for having been gone for so long. High put a lot of blood on himself.
Like, bro, dude, seriously?
It was
like. You're gonna go and everyone's gonna go where you cut, and he's gonna be like, like an idiot.
Nowhere in particular. I just ooze blood from my skin, along with mud, which happens to fall on me in hand prints on my chest and very neat.
Yeah, they looked like obviously like they put something on them. It didn't look natural at all.
No, it didn't look so good, and like it was pretty suspicious how long they were all gone, right? Like, they showed us a lot. Like, like how much they ended up putting in this edit tonight. I have to wonder how long it was going on for, how much they were suspecting. There's got to be something happening.
I don't think so, because I think they're all brand new to Survivor. They don't know how long that stuff takes. They don't know how they got to get the shots just right. I don't know. Like if I was there first day one, and they were, all three of them took that long, I'd probably be like, oh, okay. Like it there must have been something wrong with the way they were shooting it, or something happened.
Or
you know what I mean?
Time or not. Do you think they're going to be able to keep this a secret, these amulet people?
No, that's never kept a secret.
Because someone else is going to be made aware of it.
Yeah.
Because we also we saw the return tonight of like the whole risk your vote, save your vote twist, where you have to go the hike on the summit where you I don't know, like that's gotta be like a 5-kilometer walk or something. They said those 300 or like on a hot day. They're like, we thought we were just going over the hill, but we saw that challenge was back and people were risking their votes and getting advantages there as well. Anyway, so where should we go to next?
Let me just say once again, I don't like the flashbacks of like people's histories thing. I hate it. I hated it last season. I hated this season. Like there needs to be a better way to kind of introduce these things.
I kind of like it, but only like do it in the first 2 episodes, or do it in the premiere, like they're doing it, like get it all out of the way fast. Like I do understand why they're doing it, and I get like there is some cool things where you get to learn about these people, who they actually are, where they come from, are actually kind of interesting. But Survivor's always been kind of like this game where you throw a bunch of people on the beach and it's just like their personalities show you who they are, not their story. So I do see where Jameel's coming from. Like sometimes it's like really like shouldn't their personality and the way they play this game kind of speak for itself? Isn't that the whole point? Like you wake up one day, you're on a beach and you have to play this game to survive, kind of like Squid Game or whatever, where it's like you're in this room and boom, you got to do it. I think that's kind of what's. So when you do all these backstories and stuff, like I like it and I dislike it. I feel both ways.
I'm okay with it. Like I just like, but I don't know if every castaway out there gets it right. I feel like it's selective on who gets like these little treatments and who doesn't, based on what maybe fits into the narrative of that episode, or if they have like a little space to fill or something like that. And I don't know, like I just
did Jonathan get one today? Not Jonathan, sorry. Zach. Did Zach get one?
No,
and he got voted out. So it's not like
Jackson did.
But Jackson did, so like they gave one to him. So,
but Jackson would have anyway, I think, because that's when Jackson told that story. Now they could have saved it for another episode. They could have dropped it into the next episode, or maybe in the one after that if they had to. Yeah, and they will do that sometimes. But I guess they're trying to humanize the contestants in more of a sense of like they're more.
What
than just,
did I need that for Rob Cessanino or Boston Rob? I didn't need all that.
I don't need it either. It's not. I think I could take it or leave it. Really, it's kind of like the family visits, where it gives you a little bit more insight into these people because it reminds you that these are real people and not just like TV characters. But on the other hand, it's very contrived and it's a very perfect, rosy image of a person, whereas we're all more complicated than that anyway.
If I had to pick, Dave, between the flashback like story montage and family visits, give me the story montage every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I don't need a whole episode ruined because somebody's mom showed up and they needed 20 minutes to hug them. Like I just no.
And another 5 minutes to tell us how they're the greatest mom there ever was.
The shaking hands.
Right.
Oh my god. Please let me.
I haven't seen you in 35 days. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay,
can I vote for neither?
No, well, you can, of course, you can not like both things. But Jeff Probst starts off this episode tonight saying, "Guess what? We filmed these seasons back to back. That means that none of these contestants have seen season 41. They don't know we're in this new era. They know the new Rice. All of that stuff is new." But like, I can't help but think it works the other way, Jeff, because you have no feedback on how what you did in season 41 was or was not received by the audience, because you just shot these back to back, and therefore
they were catching up. They were,
I get why they had to do it, but if this whole like save your vote or risk your vote thing was kind of like, if the audience hated it, it would still be here because they shot these when they shot them, and so it is what it is, right? If it was complete flop. So in a lot of ways, this is like the sequel to season 41.
That's
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the cast is very different. I find the cast was less less likable last season, but this season's a little bit more annoying as well. Like there's a few players where I'm like, ugh, like I have to watch you for 30, 20, whatever amount of
who in particular is
Tori. Romeo.
Yeah.
There's a few of them, like Marianne. Sometimes if she doesn't dial it back a bit, she's gonna kind of get on my nerves.
Right.
I thought she was getting voted out or something too when Jackson was leaving. I'm like, I wanted Jackson to go, girl, take it easy.
Right. Oh, you guys got, if you ever get a chance, go back and watch Probe's reaction to it. He gives it the little like, like little eye, and I don't know, it's really good.
I was like, come on. All right. Yeah.
Now
sure.
there were those, what JD last season was kind of like that, where it was just a lot of energy and a little bit like I feel like sometimes these new players are getting on the show, they're like, I'm on TV, and it's just like, yeah, but you're also playing a strategic game, and you should probably dial back your energy a little bit. Like I get you're
the
on
room
TV.
a little bit, right? Come on, man.
Right.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. It's like it's also kind of interesting to think about like these 2 seasons, the all the castaways we had in 41, and they could have really shuffled these with these house guests, right? Or not house guests, castaways, like, and created any combination of a cast, because they kind of ran it here, right? Like they were all been gone through the same casting process, and this is what we ended up with. And it's a different vibe, I think. It seems to be not as necessary, like with the exception of maybe Marianne, like not as big personalities as we had in 41.
I would say for the most part, like I think Tori, as much as she's annoying, she's going to be a good TV character because she's going to be very hateable. Like nobody's going to cheer for her. So don't you think? Am I wrong about this?
Yeah,
just the
you're
people
absolutely right.
Right. It's just like
Give them
I
a
think so.
chance.
I think she'll be a good TV character, but at the same time, man, like and some of the other people, like Roxroy, seems like a cool story. I kind of liked his story.
I don't like this guy. I don't like Roxroy.
You don't like Roxroy? See, I like Roxroy, but I'm not sure about Mike. Mike Tyson. I'm not sure about him.
Mike.
Iron Mike. Like the
office. I don't want to hate on people's smiles, but like this is like I'm trying really hard to smile.
I don't think he normally smiles. I think frowning is his default facial expression.
I think you're right about that.
Mr. B face.
You know what? But he seems like a lovely guy that is a stay-at-home dad, and
he's probably a really good father.
He seems like just like a good dude and a big sweetheart.
He was throwing shade at at Schwadi tonight, going, "What, those things you call shoes? You better be cleaning those." So I was like, "What are those shoes?"
That's what he talks to his kids.
You could tell his mother was probably like that toward him, and that's like that was good parenting, and like just like stern and like and sometimes it is like sometimes that's exactly what you need, and but he had to be told a couple times, dial back on your energy.
Like, am I too much? They're like, maybe just a notch, just one notch.
Right.
It's hard. I'm out here with these kids. We're in the middle of nowhere. We got to build a shelter. You think we can sit around talking about Harry Potter all day? No, there's stuff to be done. You grab this, we do that.
Again, a really good TV character. I think he's gonna be old. He's gonna be like Abe Simpson. Like that's what he's gonna be in this season.
Old man yells at cloud.
Old man yells at cloud. Like Schwadi, I'm not as in on so far.
Really?
I think she's a little bit
vanilla.
She'll do well. I think she is a little vanilla, but she'll do well.
No, she's a little got to a hubris, I think.
Really?
What do you mean by like? It's like she's
like, I do everything ever. I'm an Ivy League student. I get into the best school. I get the best degrees. I'm the smartest person you ever met. I'm like, okay, good for you. Like,
yeah. That was her bio and Zach's bio were very similar. It's like, I work hard and I'm, I get it because I work hard. And if you don't work hard, you're not going to get things in life. And it's just like, whoa, dial it back. Like, how about you tell me a little bit about yourself rather than like, what you do.
That's what I am. I work hard.
Work hard. That's who I am. That's what I am. I eat, sleep, breathe, work hard.
Work hard. Yeah.
So
you don't work hard. You don't got it together.
That's not very interesting though. Like I know people like that work hard think it's interesting, but it's not. I want to know about like where you come from, like who you are as a person, what kind of struggles you went
What
through.
skills do you have too? Because like working hard had nothing. Because tonight this challenge that they're given, like again, they're given the option of like going using the bucket, like the sweat or SWAT or
Or
whatever.
did the triangle puzzle, yeah.
The triangle puzzle, and the only for the losing tribes who which I guess was orange and blue, right? They had to come up with the guess on like how many triangles were in there. And we got to talk about Jenny, because I thought Jenny was a bit of a surprise in this episode. I was kind of more impressed with her than I thought I was going to be on the assessment. She was who drafted Jenny? Amanda drafted Jenny, and she's from Brooklyn. I thought that she was.
I would have picked Jenny if she was still on the board. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Well, you could have had her over Jackson.
Should have picked.
Stop it. Okay.
You could have had anybody you wanted, Jaemeel. Anybody you wanted.
There was a lot of people I didn't want. A lot of the people that other people picked. I didn't want them.
Pro
could have done Jaemeel a solid, Dave, and maybe not had Jackson play or let him play. One or the other, not pull him. Jaemeel was wronged here, Dave. He had first overall pick and it's gone.
Jaemeel was wrong. Not Jackson wasn't wrong.
No, Jaemeel was wronged.
Oh, okay. But the whole thing when Jenny was explaining on the triangles tonight, and she's like, well, I'm up to at least 20 or whatever triangles, and like her whole tribe looks at her and goes, what?
We're at 11.
We're like, this is easy. There's like 5 triangles, no problem.
I thought the editing, like I just thought it was funny when this whole thing happened, Dave, with the triangles. Like they immediately showed her and then hi, and I was like, what are they trying to say to us here?
Mostly they were showing us Lydia and Hi. Lydia and Hi just didn't get it.
They're like, it's a math problem.
And Mike Turner, like they were going to Mike, like Iron Mike's face. He's like, what? Triangles.
He's like, I'm the one. This guy's got a busted wing. I'm the one that's gonna have to, grab that pot and walk back and forth. Like that's.
I think ultimately it's like Jenny and Chanel kind of solve it together, right? Like they kind of worked at the end on the Green Tribe.
Yeah.
We should maybe touch on Chanel now that we saw a lot tonight, and on the Orange Tribe. Conversely, let's talk about my pick, guys, Mr. Veterinarian himself. Where is he? Omar. I was pleasantly surprised with Omar tonight. I thought he did pretty good. I thought he solved the triangle thing as well. He was kind of the Jenny of the Taku tribe, and I thought that even though his biggest pet peeve is systemic racism, he was I thought very intelligent tonight. And how he presented.
Is there a correlation between the two?
Well, I just don't think systemic racism is a pet peeve specifically. It's like more of an issue, a social issue you would champion and go for. A pet peeve is not quite the right correlation. It's like, what's your favorite hobby? It's not like becoming a lawyer. Like that's not a hobby. It's more that's a vocation.
Well,
so
it depends on how good you are with other things.
I suppose. But are you guys liking Omar? You getting good vibes?
I thought he will do fine. Yes, I do think he's going to. I think he will be a merge player, and I think he'll do well. I think he'll probably, I see a top 7 for him.
All right, I'm hoping for top 1.
Right,
Soul Survivor.
I think he's going to do well. I don't think he's going to be really threatening to anybody, but he's going to be. I thought he was savvy enough not to say the wrong thing. Like he just kind of understood where he was and what he was doing, and so I thought I was impressed by him too. I was like, okay, Dave did see something. In this
and because they haven't seen season 41, they don't know that Erica, the Canadian, won. They don't know that they have a chance to set up back-to-back Canadian winners here.
There's no way.
This is going to be like the Blue Jays, 1992, 1993. Here we come.
That means the Canadian will never win again.
Well, not for like 20 years or 30 years.
There's no way that we're gonna have back-to-back Canadian wins.
What's gonna happen? It's gonna happen this year. They don't know. They don't know that Erica won, so they might think that they're making history.
I think it could happen, Jaemeel. I do say I think it's possible.
I can't believe that.
And it's only Omar. I do not see Marianne winning this.
Do we count Drea in the Canadian group? Because she says she's originally from Texas, but she's been living in Montreal for 12 years.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask Drea, which does she consider herself like a Canadian transplant? You know, like some Americans move to Canada and then they consider themselves like a Canadian now, you know, because they lived in Canada for so long. You know, but I don't know. I would imagine she's a Texas girl. Always a Texas girl. You know
and she is Drea's 35, and so 12 years ago she would have been 23. So she's been there since she was. So she until she was 23 in Texas, and then last 12 years in Montreal. So I would still call her American, I think, but Canadian resident at any event.
Right.
So if she wins, hey, still in. Well, I don't have her in the draft. Jane does, but. In any event,
you'll still take it.
I'll still take it.
Second, like, Jaemeel, you were wrong.
It's like if the Expos won, that would have been the same thing.
It'd be like if the Tampa Bay Rays won in Montreal.
It'd be like if the Washington Nationals won in Montreal.
Right.
If the Washington Nationals won, I would still count it as an Expos win.
They did win. They did win.
But, Expos won a championship. I totally missed that then.
Yeah.
That's like saying when the Colorado Avalanche won the cup.
You don't think Nordique fans counted it?
Well, I think they tried. I think it was kind of like, yeah, thanks for all those years.
I wonder
if Denver.
I wonder if Atlanta cheered when Calgary won the Stanley Cup in 1989.
No, they thought they still had the team. They were surprised to find out that it had moved about 9 years earlier.
Yeah.
So
the Flames won. Oh, great! We're going to the parade.
When they did their contest for the Thrashers. Like they're like, well, what should we name the team? Atlanta. They did the vote,
right?
And everyone voted for Atlanta Flames. And they're like, no, that team moved to Calgary. It's the Calgary Flames now. You can't use that name. They're like, it did. Yeah, the number one vote. Number 2 was Thrashers, but it was like a distant second.
Well, how about that? They changed their name, and then we take Flames. So we
we had it first, but you let the team go.
New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah. Oh my God. Or the Charlotte Hornets, and then they were the Bobcats, and then they were back to the Hornets.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
Are they? And who's the There's a Pelican now.
Oh, the Pelicans were the Hornets, and then they became the Pelicans.
Yeah, the Charlotte Hornets moved to New Orleans. All right, and then as a expansion transplant, and then Charlotte got their team back, got a new team as an expansion team, and they named it the Bobcats because the New Orleans Hornets still had the team name, and then they made a deal, and New Orleans dropped the name Hornets, became the Pelicans, and Charlotte took the Hornets name back.
Right. I hope you're all enjoying this sports talk we're having out there as we're talking about the history of different franchises moving around. But for our analogy,
I will say, Dave, that for the folks that might feel a little bit of a ways about what we just talked about, keep in mind, I have a strong belief that this is going to be a good season. Right? I think it's going to be messy. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to overplay. Right? And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Me too. I'm excited about the season too. I was left feeling after this tonight. I was like, this is good. I'm liking where this is starting off. I think that obviously Jackson was disappointing, but I think that overall that there's a lot of things to be optimistic about with this group and how they think it's going to play out. And we'll see what things we like and what things we don't. I have an important issue we need to bring up that just was raised to my attention last evening while I was riding the GO train. Jane pointed out to me that they now like to dress this cast in like civilian clothes, right, to make them feel like more like I guess they've been shipwrecked, right?
Yeah, sure.
But they give them like standard like kind of like cotton underwear or those kinds of materials. But that can lead to some serious health issues out there when you're wet and you're kind of in these conditions. And they were saying like they got to go back to giving them bathing suits again.
Did you just learn about this?
Well, I've heard a little bit about this, but apparently there was a really bad urinary tract infection, a UTI, that affected one of the contestants in the most recent seasons. Went right up into her kidneys. This especially affects women more than
yes.
than not, and it's a pretty serious issue. And I was like, why can't they just give them bathing suit underwear if they want them to have like this look of
Parvati has been championing this for a while.
Okay, I stand with you, Parvati.
Wait, they don't let them wear a bathing suit? What are you talking about?
No, they're making them wear underwear.
They used to give them bathing suits, and then they stopped doing that.
Okay, you're right, Dave. Like, why can't they just wear, like, or for instance, like Jackson right there, or what's his name, Daniel? Why do they got to wear a cotton short? Just wear a bathing suit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
or like something, at least a material that's going to be like basically dry fit.
And then with Tori, like, she can have like the bathing suit bottoms and then put the shorts on over top.
Yep. Yeah. I think that there's a compromise here, so that they could do, right? To like kind of give the look of like this. They're a bunch of civilians that have just been shipwrecked, instead of they showed up here for beach challenge or whatever, which I guess is what kind of it did look for a few seasons. And I get why they moved away
for like 10 years. It was
no one has any like illusions about, oh no, they're really shipwrecked. It's like, come on. we're 42 in, like
we're 42 in. I get kind of this, especially like you might want like a jacket, just like a suit jacket, just to have that for when it's cold.
That Adam Savage look.
That Adam Savage look,
right.
Or the Cochrane look.
Well, if you bring up the Orange Tribe picture, Dave, real quick,
sure.
You can see what Lindsay's wearing, but like I do like, make them wear normal clothing or whatever. But yeah, you don't need to give them like a suit jacket. Like, give them a bathing suit, whatever they're like is good for their health. But don't make them look like they just got off. Yeah, like what Lindsay's wearing here. Like I would want
they gave Chanel
or Mariah is her name. She's wearing like comfortable whatever clothes.
That's Mariah. I'm sorry.
Her hat with the leopard skin. But yeah, like in the sweater, like Omar cracks me up. He looks like he's a waiter at a Caribbean restaurant every time I look at him.
It's just that particular pose.
Yeah. He's like, what can I get you? Some guacamoles. What do you need? Like, I don't know.
Behind him, he has his pad and his pen.
Yeah, he's got his pad. So I think the clothing is very tropical this season.
Yeah. Welcome to Rainforest Cafe. What can I get for you?
Yeah, welcome to the Rainforest
Cafe.
Okay,
so he's like, he's the waiter. Marriott's the hostess. I think Jonathan's like the cook in the back.
Yeah, he's the cook in the back.
Right.
With Jackson. I'd say
with Jackson. I think Jackson works in the line too. Probably flipping the
Mariah is the bartender. And I think
Lindsay's like the manager.
Yeah, Lindsay's the manager. She does the book. Yeah, she's the accountant.
She's somewhat in theme. It's like, you see the headband, welcome to the Rainforest Cafe. I hope you're enjoying your meal.
Omar will take care of you tonight.
How's your server, Omar?
If you want a daiquiri, just look over there to Mariah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry that you had a disappointing meal. We'll take that care of you. We'll remove it from your bill. And as a compliment to the house, just talk to Omar over there. He'll provide you a 10% coupon for your next visit. Thank you for coming.
And then Omar goes back into the back, and then Jonathan throws a cup at his face, and he dodges it, and then he leaves, and he goes, "Okay, well, that's not happening." You know what I mean? Like, I think we got to make it some sitcom here. I think
this is a great tribe. I just want to see their show from now on. But Jackson's been rented out of this show already.
It's a little Modern Family too. Like, it's got a little bit of that vibe too. Like, we got the Julie Bowen with Lindsay, and I don't know. I'm loving this tribe too. Like, I think this tribe's going to be the gold of the season.
Good. Taku tribe. Let's do it.
It's a shame Jackson Fox was taken away from us.
Yeah, they're down to 5, but maybe that will be a bonding thing for the 5 of them, and they'll kind of persevere from here. Because they lost somebody, they didn't have to vote somebody out, so that's got to be a weird feeling. Here and like they didn't get, I don't know, they didn't quite get like the entire story. It didn't seem like from Jackson. They got like kind of like they
probably got more, and we just cut out. We didn't get to see it.
Yeah,
because no one wants to see it explained twice.
No, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, Any of the challenges? Did you find did any of the challenges stand out to you tonight? Whether it be that the one with the boat or the one was that it may have been the same one. I guess there was the reward challenge right at the beginning, and then there was the immunity challenge. They were both kind of very similar, where you had to move things and get a boat and row it around something and get chests and fill
That
up with
last
the thing.
challenge was that's
Grueling.
a good start. It's great.
I liked it. Kicked their ass. Yes, but this isn't gonna be easy, millennials.
They kicked their ass to the point where Zach, who I think had memorized a whole bunch of different Survivor puzzles coming into this, being a super fan or whatever, his brain just couldn't work. The guy's already so skinny, right? And then you think about he's been out there for 48 hours or so without or almost 3 days, no rice, so it's whatever they can forage. And on top of that, he just did this incredibly physical challenge in intense heat.
Didn't he say that he upped his weight to 180 or 118?
I think closer to 118 was what I would buy there.
Yeah. Which just imagine the stress on your body to get up to that point, and then just to be to drag that along. Yeah, probably 118.
I would say 118 is much more likely than 180.
His head is the biggest part of his body, probably.
I thought he was bigger than Romeo, though. Romeo's a skinny guy too. Jesus,
yeah. Let's talk about And the thing I think this is what got me wondering tonight too, because we kept hearing these rumors through season 41 that 3 people would quit season 41, and then in the end, I don't think anybody quit. 41,
no one did,
right? No one did.
Now maybe they'll count Jackson's as a sort of it's not a quit, but it's like a pull, right?
A pull, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this is the season we're going to lose 3 people.
I think so.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
And I think Romeo is at the top of the list.
Why do you say that, Romeo? Because he's so skinny, he's going to be
I think this no rice game. I think for him who has no meat on his bones coming in, it already starves you being out there. Even when you have rice, it's grueling, right?
Then, I disagree. I think it's not going to be him. I think he's going to be able to manage a lot better than someone like Jonathan, who is so used to a heavy intake of carbs to keep that weight up.
Yeah.
You strike that person down with barely any food, and let's say he can't catch fish. As good of a provider he tries to be, if he can't feed himself, he is screwed.
I also thought it was interesting, they barely showed him on the premiere tonight, and he's Jonathan. And I thought it was weird, but I think Jameel's probably right that he either quits or there's something with him, because he seems like a big personality and they barely showed him on the show.
Maybe
he'll get to next episode. But
here's the thing: these athletes or people who train heavily, they have a very consistent eating profile that they hit, and we've seen it before with other people where they have to intake a lot of food. So he could catch a lot, but he's probably going to take a large portion of what they're going to eat, and if he can't, there's going to be trouble. We've seen it before. Even a couple seasons ago, there was the one dude. He said he was starving, and he was double dipping in every meal. And it pissed off his tribe, and he was like, "What can I do? I'm such a big dude. I just intake a lot of calories, and I need it a lot more than you do."
Right, but that's not how fairness works in a tribe where you divide things equal.
Well, that's what's ridiculous about Survivor sometimes is that in what survival situation would that occur?
Well, you're saying if we're out there on a beach together, we would kind of factor in who's bigger and who's smaller for how we.
I would imagine Jonathan's going to get the food, in a real life situation.
If he's doing all the fishing, maybe.
Well, yes, and yeah. See, that's the only way and I think he knows it, and I think that's why he's on this show. I think Jaemeel is because he's a spearfisher. If he catches fish at a good rate, he'll be fine. It's like if you ever watch a show alone. Sometimes there'll be people on there and, they try to go as long as they can by just foraging or eating rabbits. And that can only last so long. It's the people that catch fish that last longest, because when you catch fish, you get all of those fatty amino acids and you need that. If you don't get that, you're done. in a survival
Your
situation.
brain will start to break down, right? Like it will start to malfunction a little bit. You're right. There's like the 9 essential amino acids you have to get in your diet, and there's only so much you can get from even rice for that
Coconuts.
matter, or coconuts.
It's basically fish is like one of the things. That's why they give them rewards, because if they didn't give them rewards and food that way, their body would start to shut down. And so Survivor is a very pampered survival show. It always has been. Now it's even more so because yes, they're taking away their food, but it's 26 days now. That's huge. Like it compared to 39 days. 39 days, by the time you get to day 30 or 31 and you haven't had enough the proper vitamins and minerals, your body is in a bad place.
And to mention your mood and your spirit,
right?
Your mental condition, especially if you're getting rained on for 4 days, like torrential downpour. I guess you just focus on the $1 million at the end of the tunnel and try to push through it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to hop over, guys, and do our Big Brother podcast quickly, just to get that in for the week and just touch on what's happening over there very quickly. Is there anybody we haven't talked about? I think we talked about most of these castaways. Maybe the rare exception here was we kind of talked about Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia. I don't know. Not sure. Not sure.
I think I would be friends with her in real life.
Yeah, like I'm not sure about her yet as far as a Survivor player. We'll see.
Yeah, I could see her being a quitter.
I could see it as well.
I don't know if she's cut out for this. Okay, and we talked about Lindsay. We talked about Drea.
Drea is kind of. I think she's a gamer. I think she's not quite getting the game yet. I think she's gonna stumble a little bit before she runs. But
I was impressed in how she backed down in the conversation with Hy tonight about, she wanted to get out Roxroy, and he's like, no, we can't get out Roxroy. We're supposed to be working with him, remember? And she's like, okay,
right.
Like whatever, I'll back down.
She knew enough to not push that, and I think okay. Like even though she screwed up, I thought she handled the screw up properly.
Because for a second I was like, is Drea and Romeo the new like Shan and Rickard?
Maybe.
But I don't think so. I think that they're very different personalities. Like Drea's, I don't like anything like Chantel.
Well, I don't think there's been many players that played like her.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, let's sign off for tonight, guys, and head over to Big Brother Canada and start just check in about what's happening over there. If you didn't know, we are covering Big Brother Canada 10. We didn't do Monday night because there's not normally a Monday night episode, but there was this week. And so we're going to talk about that HOH. Forward. Is that the new night? They're not doing Sundays at all anymore?
They're doing, they're doing Mondays.
Anyway, so we're heading over there to do a quick check-in on what's happening with Big Brother Canada 10. Just very shortly, we'll be live streaming over there and following that season along. As well, we did Celebrity Big Brother 3 not too long ago. Before that was Survivor 41, which we've been referencing many times tonight. So lots of reality shows here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting we've talked about. We'd like to do our drafts. We'd like to analyze what's happening in those games. Also, we talk about shows that are not reality based, including Marvel. We talked about like Hawkeye and different things like that. Jeff and I talked about Ozark not too long ago. We talked about the last 7 episodes of Ozark in just over a month's time. Westworld, when that comes back, and different properties. And you want to hear, and eventually a Gilligan's Island podcast, I think. But that's on the horizon. A 3-hour tour. Plus, we have our channel called Trivial Debates, a monthly show where we argue about movies, TV, sports. Jeff Mader just hosted the most recent edition. Jaemeel Robinson was competing. Jody Simpson and Max Duda were there as well. But come on, Jaemeel was star, of course. And it was a great episode. We also have to mention that we have another channel called Live Long and Podcast, a Star Trek themed channel where we talk about Star Trek all the time. Monday nights, we're doing a rewatch of Star Trek Enterprise, going through each episode in order. Check that out every Monday night. Talk about that with Jody Simpson, Adam Woodward, and Kevin Millard. Tuesday nights, Jeff Mader leads the Deep Space Nine and Nine rewatch series as we're up to season 5, episode 10, I think. Last night, you guys were talking about Things Past. We've been going through all those episodes in order. We're getting into the nitty gritty of the Dominion War soon over on Deep Space Nine at 9ish. And tomorrow, Thursday, March 10th, we're going to be talking about the next 2 new episodes of Star Trek. One is Star Trek Picard, which is having its 2nd episode of season 2. That will be covered by Jody Simpson, Davin Skellhorn, and Adam Woodward tomorrow. Conversely, Discovery season 4, episode 10 is coming out. And I'll be covering that with Michael Chan and Ashley Millard. So Live Long and Podcast, dividing and conquering on all the new Star Trek shows. And once Discovery wraps up, and they only got 2 episodes left for the season, then I'll be hopping over to Picard to help talk about that with those guys over there. And then Star Trek: Strange New Worlds on the horizon in not too future. They released a trailer today. I kind of dug it, and I just not sure about this new uniform. Not that I don't like the uniform, I'm just not sure about the V-neck. Anyway. You should check out our other friends podcast. Michael Chan's got the Hellbound podcast that he does with Alex Blackburn. It's a horror podcast. My son Eamon Mater, under his alias Sanjurka, does Let's Talk About Fighting Games, which he does with Super Smash Bros. Seth and Paranoia. They talk about Street Fighter. They talk about Dragon Ball Z. They talk about all kinds of fighting games like Baiken. They just recorded a new episode, and they will be posted out in the near future. And you should also check out Davin Skellhorn's podcast. He's got Locutors of Trek, his Star Trek theme channel, and his X-Men the Animated Series X-rated rewatch called X-rated. Jaemeel Robinson was on that last night talking about Till Death Do Us Part 2. I was on part 1. Jaemeel was on part 2. So anyway, those are all of the I think those are all the plugs. And thank you for being with us to cover the first episode of Survivor 42. Feels like a roller coaster. All right, so let's head on over, and we'll go out on the thing here. So what else we gotta go for? I don't know what to go out on, guys, but I always like this speech. So let's go out tonight. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next week.
To me, it's about this. What happens when you put a group of people and force them to live together in a jungle, a real jungle, and rely on each other? It's amazing.
It's amazing.